What's up, guys, and welcome back to the infamous project. A lot of you have been asking what happened to that 88 T-Top Mustang GT that you had. Well, here it is sitting behind me. It's gone through its transformation, looking a lot better than it did when I first got it. That was the plan. However, the plan wasn't to sell it, and I did. And I am regretful of it already. I'm going to go into more details about the car and the story behind it, so stick around. All right, guys, so the cat's out of the bag. I sold the car, and a lot of you guys would probably know that a dark shadow blue on silver GT, let alone T-Top, has been like on my bucket list for the longest time, and it took me an extremely long time to find this one until earlier in 2024. I had an individual who reached out and said, hey, I got what you're looking for. And I saw the car in person at Motor City Fox Fest, actually, and we made a deal for the car there. Now, I did not drive the car home. In fact, I needed to arrange logistics, and it took a while. I was waiting for one of my friends to make the trip from Canada down and hopefully save a couple bucks. I ended up having to use a transport company, and the car finally arrived to my door later in the year. And for some of you guys that know my story, some of you guys don't, well, I had a cancer diagnosis late last year, and it really threw a wrench in my plans. So the car actually didn't even arrive when I found out, and it was probably the perfect opportunity to back out of the deal, but I'm a man of my word. I told him I was gonna buy the car, and I proceeded with the deal anyways, knowing that, or not knowing what would happen with my health. Thankfully, everything went in a positive direction, and we're moving forward with life, but somebody reached out to me because they as well were looking for the same color combo that I love so much, and I think a lot of people love this color combo. And it was the same spec as his first FoxBody that he ever had, and for me, my priority was my health. So we made a deal for the car. So I guess the positive in this whole situation was, well, the new buyer wanted a few things done. He wanted the car resprayed, he wanted a wheel and tire setup, he wanted bigger brakes, and the car to be gone through, which gave me the opportunity to put my touches on it. And that's probably why you guys haven't seen very much footage of this car, because it's sort of been, what's the word I'm looking for? Not a sour taste in my mouth, but just a frustrating and challenging one, because this car came into my life during an extremely challenging situation, and having to work on it and go through the process and everything else was just as difficult. So here we are, 88 Mustang GT T-Top car, originally dark shadow blue on a titanium lower. It would have had, well, it did in fact have kind of that baby blue pinstripe that went around the body. And first things first, you guys would have saw, I dealt with the stance and I put my ROH ZR6 wheels on the car, and those ROHs are now in Canada, going on another 90 GT that I picked up, a nice black low mileage car. So you guys are definitely going to want to hang around so you can see that. I'm picking it up this summer when I'm up there. And yeah, the owner wanted these SVEs. Now you guys know that I'm not the biggest fan of SVE wheels. However, with that said, they actually look pretty good. I think the black complements the moldings and the trim and the T-tops and all that stuff. So I'm not going to knock the wheels. They look pretty nice. And did a full FoxBody brake upgrade utilizing the factory 4-lug spindles and re-drilling and tapping them so that you can put on a Cobra or PBR caliper with a nice big rotor. And in the rears, you know, your normal setup with the FoxBody brake rear bracket. So axles were upgraded and everything else, but now we have a full nice setup, and I do have some footage of that. So let's get into some of the footage on the brakes here so you guys can see that firsthand. Here I am trying to document stuff in the car, and looks like my neighbors are running into some issues here over at Georgetown Classics. Broke down Mustang.
Want to run you?
Sure. All good?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was ironic, running into the neighbors, probably doing some testing on that old Mustang. And, well, here I am in the 88 T-Top. If you look up above, you can see. And this is pretty much the first time I've really driven the car, other than going to get eggs and snap some pictures after I lowered it and put the ROHs on. Now, mind you, the ROHs are no longer on the car. They're actually up in Canada at this point because I bought a minty 90 GT up there and I set the wheels up. Now, you guys are probably wondering, well, why'd you get the wheels off the T-Top? Well, I actually sold this car and I was pretty quiet about it. There's a whole story. Man, look at all these bumps today. Amazingly enough, there's like no rattles in this car. So I've actually had this car painted and it's all back together. I'm cruising to the shop now to do a 4-wheel disc 5-volt conversion on it and put a new set of wheels on for the new owner. So I guess spoiler alert. I just wanted to kind of get some footage of driving this car because I'm not going to get to enjoy it for very much longer here. And I gotta say, this is an extremely easy to drive car. It runs amazing. Easy clutch pedal, brakes, all the gauges work. It's a sad car to get rid of. It truly is. The fact that we got all brand new seals and everything in the T-roof and there's no rattles or squeaks or anything like that is it stings. It stings the wound, and I'm kind of regretting the fact that I sold this car, but I kind of sold it for good reasons. So we'll get into that, but I just wanted to get a little bit of driving to share some of the experience with you guys. But yeah, this is a beauty car. Well, here's the car. Made it to the shop. Drove great, like I was saying, in the car while driving it. Even got the hatch loaded up with a bunch of goodies. And that's including a new set of Bilsteins to improve the ride quality some here. Of course, we got it slammed down with some infamous approved springs. And just want to get all the rebound and the bounciness out of it. So quality shock and strut setup that is not something like KYB or Monroe or a basic OE replacement is going to do the trick. So as mentioned, the car is here for its final treatment. In fact, there are the wheels and tires. I know, they're SVEs, but the customer is always right, as they say. And then over here we got a number of boxes from FoxBody brakes, and this is going to be our complete 5-bolt 4-wheel disc conversion. So Andrew's just actually finishing up this 4-wheel disc conversion over here and getting the e-brake cables installed so they can do the thing. And once this car comes off the lift, then the T-top will go on. We're going to get the final little bits sorted on this car.
So here is our factory 4-lug spindle with the brackets chopped off for the factory caliper. And what that does is it opens up the opportunity to bolt on a new caliper bracket in its place, utilizing those 3 holes that typically hold on your dust shield. Now, with this kit, there is larger hardware, so we bolt on the bracket and do 1 hole at a time with a massive 1/2-inch drill bit, which is included in the kit, and they also include the tapping tool with the kit. So what you want to do is 1 bolt hole at a time, use some lubricant, take your time so that way your threads are nice and smooth, and you'll be able to get this nice hardware installed so that everything will work seamlessly. So right here you can see going one hole at a time as mentioned, and here is the massive 13-inch Cobra rotor that is installed with the caliper as well. You can see this kit is actually a pretty nice alternative, right? Instead of trying to hunt down those SN95 spindles and changing some of your suspension geometry, so on and so forth. So to be able to keep your factory 4-lug spindles is a great possible solution, and for the price point, it's probably very similar to going the SN95 route.
All right, everything is pretty much done in terms of brakes. Have not got to the quad shocks yet. We'll cross that bridge after we get everything bled out. But you can see here, everything's spaced, looking good. Do you have to use any shims back here?
No.
So no shims required. And voila.
That was easy compared to
Yeah. Cobra style rotors in the back. Oh shit, man, you chipped some of your paint off, man. You have to do some quick little touch up. Did you touch it with brake clean?
Probably. Either that or
maybe
I had like some.
Yeah.
Some on the gloves.
Here's the fronts. Those massive rotors, Bilstein struts, and everything was pretty straightforward. We did have to put a shim behind the rotor like you typically would with the Cadillac ATS Brembo conversion, and that was again to be able to get the rotor a little further out, because we couldn't shim anything with the caliper bracket because the rotor was actually touching the mount for the inserts that thread in for the caliper brackets. So probably let FoxBody Brakes know about that they might need to include those in their kits. No big deal. We're talking that 3mm shim, so it's literally a tiny little spacer. Well, it's a shim, but however you want to refer to it as, but that's that. So put the car down, get the new master cylinder on. We have to check the instructions here and get this nonsense figured out, but already have the proportioning valve gutted. Oh, and we do need to install this proportioning valve over on the passenger side there. So of course the brakes, and that was kind of the last thing that got done. The first thing that got done was the body and the paint, and guys, what a challenge. It was something that was supposed to, I was told, going to take less than a month's time, and he busted the whole car down. Like, I actually did not strip this car down the way that I normally do. He did it for me. So he pulled the quarter windows, he pulled all the trim off, the T-tops and the door moldings, the body kit, everything came off the car, and this car had a lot of dings, a lot of scratches, really great bones, but right, just a 1988 Mustang with 100,000 plus-ish miles on it, has gone through the ringer, so to speak. So he body worked, repainted the whole car, and opted to do a satin finish on the titanium on the bottom, kind of more of a factory look, and I think the shade and the tone of the silver is absolutely perfect. I know a lot of people have challenges trying to get the right shade. Some people clear coat it shiny, some people go with the darker titanium bottom versus the lighter, and I think this is perfect personally. So he went through and did all that, and he had a couple struggles because some of the late 80s single stage paints, they had some adhesion issues, and so he was battling some parts where the paint had actually kind of peeled off, but managed to get through it, and the car came back, and the car looks really, really nice. Let's do a little bit of cinematic so you guys can see some of that, and I'll throw in some footage at the body shop so you guys can kind of see a little bit of the process that I managed to document. I had plans of having the car resprayed, so that's why it is in the booth here. So I'm gonna be doing my touch to it. In fact, well, Bobby, my painter in the back there, he's gonna be doing his thing to the car. And Bobby is actually my neighbor. This is 2 doors down from my old commercial shop. And he was here when I first moved in, and he's done some work. In fact, he painted my neighbor's black hatchback, if you guys remember, with the Maker's wheels, and does some pretty good work. So that's why the car is here, and we'll kind of go over a few things because this car has been loved and it's been driven, so there's quite a bit. How do you feel, man?
What's up, guys?
So it's pretty clean, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, we don't have the rust because Bobby's from up in Wisconsin and we're down here freezing. Like, we're in the booth here, guys. This is not what we didn't move to the south to see these types of conditions.
It's 45 degrees, 50 degrees in the booth right now, so it's just too cold to be trying to do any type of work right now.
But it looks like, you know, you found all the little battle wounds. I know this is always a pain in the ass, right? When the urethane kind of has like that pitting to it. So you got to kind of fill all those things in. But, you know, all the body kit's off, the glass is removed and all the trim and everything else to make sure we can get paint where we want it. And like I said, it's pretty clean. A little bit of panel alignment. On that fender, I think it was a little off, and then what he does is he loosens up the front bumper cover so it allows paint material to get in where you need it. Now guys, this is like a driver quality paint job. We're just doing the outside. This isn't like your every body panel coming off restoration job. This is something that is going to be purposely painted to be a driver and enjoyed and not scared to drive it and for that door ding or maybe a little scratch or whatever you'll get. But any surprises, man?
No, not too much. No surprises. It's a pretty solid car, man. It's pretty clean. Just a couple dings here and there, but
then the factory waves here.
Yeah, addressed all of that. Had just a couple little spots here and there. Like it was a little rust spot right there. Addressed, hit it with some rust mort, cleaned it out. Same on the back, but for the most part, it's a pretty decent car, man.
Yeah. And Bobby's getting converted. He wants a FoxBody now. So if anybody knows where there's another T-Top, because that's what you were looking for, T-Top or convertible, right?
Either one, T-Top or convertible.
Right. So if you guys got a nice project that needs paint, he'll take your project that needs paint because, well, that's his specialty. But that's the update on the car, guys. Next time we see it, maybe in primer, and then guess you'll have to get shooting some color now because two-tone car, you got to kind of do.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot it all at once. I'm gonna shoot the silver and then.
So you'll have it like masked off strategically.
Yeah,
so you,
shoot the blue, unmask it, then clear the whole car.
So after the body and paint, of course, all the trim needed to happen, and I did that. So restored, this is actually a different set of quarter windows. The ones that were on the car were beat up pretty bad. I had a set of cores that were in decent shape that I refurbished, and they turned out great. Redid all the trim, all the seals, right? The mirrors, cowl cover, all those things. There's actually wipers on this car because, well, it's not mine, and you know, wipers are a safety item in reality. The interior, I didn't have to do a thing. This is actually a super clean interior. All I needed to do was get my little detailer, Splish Splash Detailing, to come through and detail it out. Even the headliner is in good shape in this car, which is surprising because T-Tops don't always have that luxury. And oddly enough, this is a cloth headliner. I've seen them in vinyl sometimes, and the vinyl kind of comes off and it's not as nice, but I don't know the difference there. I'm honestly not a T-Top car expert, but maybe somebody can fill me in there. But you guys can see firsthand, the cloth is in really, really good shape. Barely anywhere in the bolster over there. Super, super clean interior, factory radio. So the car actually came with the Fox lock setup. You see it's got a Ford Motorsport 140 mile an hour speedometer, which is a nice upgrade. So nobody really knows the true mileage of the car. Got my screwdriver back here. Trunk carpet, all that stuff are super nice. Even got the cargo cover in the back here. Upgraded, did some LED bulb upgrades, all that good stuff. Hatch actually closes decent. And let's take a look under the hood, although there's not much to see under there. So in terms of power, folks, this is your bone stock 1988 speed density motor. I have not touched a thing underneath here other than the detailing. So detailer got it cleaned up a little bit. AC works. The SVE hoses were already on it. So it looks like a water pump was done recently, and all the hoses there. I'm assuming the heater core and all the AC stuff was all upgraded because, well, the AC actually works still, and there's an R134 fitting on there. You can see the upgraded master for the FoxBody brake setup there. Other than that, folks, that's pretty much it for underneath the hood of this car. So that's pretty much it for the 88 Mustang GT T-Top. And like I said, it's a sad point for me because I really, really wanted this color combo. Now, the one thing that I will say is I do personally, so when I was younger, I used to love the fact that some of these 88s had convertible mirrors. I thought just having convertible mirrors on a hardtop was sort of like a cool thing. This day and age, I would prefer the traditional mirror on the T-Top, you know, early 88 or 87 style. But aside from that, folks, this car honestly ticked all the boxes. And well, it's getting ready to get loaded on a truck and go to the new owner. I do want to mention with the brakes, so with those FoxBody brakes, the front kit, notice the center cap isn't on the front here because of the dust cap, the way that the hub goes on for the way that their kit works. So I was thinking just getting a black sticker SVE, or maybe he'll do custom center caps or something on there and make it look the part. But that's pretty much it on the brakes. So guys, that's gonna do it for the 88 T-Top. And it's gonna be a sad day to see this one go. In fact, the buyer's been super cool. He's been following along. He's been, you know, keeping up to date with my health and the progress of the car, because it was sort of like one of those side projects for me personally, as this was a personal car of mine. This was, you know what I mean, never intended to be a customer car. It turned into one, and it's been great to work with him, and I hope that he loves the car when he gets it and continues to enjoy it. If you guys are wondering what the suspension is, it's still the same suspension that I put in from the last video. So the car sits pretty darn level, rides really nice with the Bilstein upgrades. Did put some Bilstein shocks and struts in it, and like I always say, your suspension or your springs and everything are at the mercy of the strut and shock setup. So don't put KYBs in your lowered car, Monroes or whatever it is. Pay for the Coneys, pay for the Bilsteins, pay for what's going to make your car ride nice for you. So that's going to do it, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you enjoy the car. And we'll see you guys here next time on the Infamous Project.